Come do a Monday restock with me. I was so energized this morning that I started my Monday reset and started cleaning without recording. So here is just the overview of my house, all refreshed and ready for the week. But I do have a few items that need restocked, so let's get to it. I needed to replace almost all the items in my laundry room. When these canisters are open, that's when I clean them and make sure that they're not cloudy anymore, especially for the detergent. And who designed this? I realize it's like child safety, but it's impossible to get out of here. But that's okay, I don't have to do it too often. As for the scent boosters, I really only use this on all of our mini blankets that we have around the house. But the toasted vanilla scent is dreamy. Highly recommend it. That's why that one sits out, and I do have another one up in the cabinet. I need to restock my OxyClean, and I do make a mess with it, so when I am restocking it, it's also a good time to clean up my mess. This includes wiping down the canister even though it's not empty. This stuff is like sand. It just kind of ends up everywhere. And I know I kind of jokingly complained about Tide, but this one, there's no way to get that scoop out or pour it without making a mess every time. That is why I moved my canning funnel in here so I can use it for this purpose only. Hopefully it saves some messes in the future. I'll also restock my vinegar and fill up my method spray. I keep thrifted funnels in my cleaning area that I use just for cleaning supplies. And once I got out my big bottle, I realized I need to reorder some more method spray because I am all out. This is also where I would recommend a drain board sink because I can just rinse out this funnel and then set it out to dry, and it works so well. Now I'm going to throw away all of my recycled items before moving to my kitchen restock. Again, when these canisters are empty, I use that time to wash them, so this one is nice and fresh for my maple pecan Starbucks coffee. I got it one fall and just never went back. The last thing is to replace the air filter in our bedroom air purifier. This may not be the best quality one, but it really does collect quite a bit of dust. So I replaced the filter, and then it does come with these little dots so you can put some essential oils on there. I decided this time I was going to use eucalyptus. But that's all the restock for today. I hope you guys have a wonderful week. Come thrifting with me. I'm at my favorite thrift store. It has been 2 weeks since I have been here, and today I am thinking about some Halloween projects and to make sure that I have enough items for when October gets here, or really late September when I decorate. I need to start looking today. Let's get to it. The Halloween idea I have is craft specific, so I will be hitting up that area. But first, let's hit up the fall items. I'm pretty sure my friend made this sign. Very cute, but very early Joanna Gaines. This tomato candle ring was so cute. I've never seen a tomato one in only $1.50. But since I don't have a lot of red, I left it for someone else. On my way back to crafts, I did notice this little picture or plate holder. It was real brass and only $1.50, so I had to grab it. And I could not believe my eyes. What are the chances that I find another one of these right after styling my first one? This one does look a little newer, and the scissors didn't stain the plastic, so I decided to go ahead and get it for $1 and see if I can't merge the two. Or maybe I'll just replace it and use the other one for coins or cards or something like that. Stay tuned. But I finally made it to the craft containers and I started digging. They did have some fun magnets in here. This one I'm getting for my sister. If you knew her, it would just make sense. The football I thought I would get for my son's lockers in his room. And then when I found more hot dogs and pizza, I decided to get it for our white elephant gift exchange at Christmas time. They're goofy and fun. Then I found these large wooden beads. They were $2 for the entire bag, and I think I might be able to use those for Halloween. Again, I'll share more later. It is my weakness, and you guys told me not to apologize for it any longer. So the $2 lace ribbon was mine. They started sorting them out by Christmas and then really big ribbon, and I just wanted to take a little peek, No harm in just, seeing what they had. These would be so cute for wrapping really big gifts for your front porch or something. I saw the stamps and I donated this stuff, so I was just being nosy to see what they priced it at. $3 and $1.50. You guys know by now that I don't have a lot of rooms that focus on blue, but I actually adore these. They're so 80s. I love the little toilet, the little sink. So cute. And then I saw this cast iron, almost dropped it, airplane. When my nephew was a baby, his nursery was vintage transportation, and this would have been so cute. Unfortunately, he has moved on, so I left it. I did take a peek into the hanger container. I have been looking for a wood hanger like this, but just for pants. So just that bottom clamp part. So I'll have to keep looking. And then I found a lamb trinket. Is she not just the cutest thing? $1. Absolutely getting that for my trinket shelf. And it's probably been about a month or so that I have been looking at this. And today is just the day. $5 bag. I'm getting it. And this bear was cute as well, but I decided to leave it for someone else. I did want to check out the price on these melamine bowls. I was a little taken aback. $7 for those bundles and $3 for that bottom plate. Maybe it's because they're neutral toned. I'm not sure, but I definitely had to leave those behind. I had put my vintage card collecting on hold, but now I have a cute idea for them, so I'm back at it. Unfortunately, there were none in a single box, so I moved on. I'm always looking for vintage utensils. I've been looking for a noodle spoon for my sister, but I found these salad servers instead for $3. They're kind of that home interiors plastic and very 70s. I decided to get them. I really considered these ladles as well. Are they for gravy, you think, or maybe just individual dressings? I decided to leave them for someone else.
Not to be creepy, but I love your videos.
Oh. This is when I had such a sweet interaction with one of my followers. Her son recognized me, which just made my day. Before checking out, though, I had to take a look at this magazine rack. I loved the colors and the style of it. It was just missing one little rail. But for $5, I thought it was a pretty good deal. I hope someone snags that one right up. The best part about getting that bag was they just threw all of my items in there. I did see, though, on the clearance table, they had this red pot with the faux greenery. I'm going to take it out and make my own Christmas arrangement. But how could I pass up that vibrant red, almost Cajun shrimp, especially when it's on clearance? I ended up getting a couple of other green tags, which ended up being 25% off today. Overall, I spent $18.57, and it was a pretty good day at the thrift store. Thanks, guys. Come style my thrifted vintage lamp with me. I recently got this lamp at the Salvation Army for $4.99. I have been trying to find a couple of brass lamps, and so this one I have a couple of ideas for. The wiring's not too terribly old, and it did say it worked, and I was very pleasantly surprised that it has 3 different brightness settings. So let's clean it up, and my first idea is to put it in my living room. There are certainly some other places it could go, but I really do love it, and I would love to work it into my living room somehow. So here is the room. I purchased those 2 other matching brass lamps a while back, and I absolutely love them in this space. So I am a little concerned about a non-matching lamp also being in this room, but it's pretty complimentary. Right now we have a very small lamp on the dresser / made into an end table. The reason is this couch used to be sideways, and so the lamp sat behind the couch and it needed to be lower so you could see the TV. So from another angle, just to make it a little clearer, this couch used to be turned sideways. The recliners weren't there, and that lamp was on a console table behind the couch. So when you're in the dining room space, you could still see the TV and people and everything. A reason I haven't updated it so far is that it is also now in front of this window, and we didn't really want it to impede the view. As you can tell, it's not at all in the way right now. But let's go ahead and take everything off of this table and just see how the new one looks. The new lamp would be so beautiful here, especially since you see this space right when you walk in the front door. I drew the blinds a little bit just to help with lighting because once they're open, it's kind of hard to record this area. So there is the lamp alone, and I wanted to style it just to see if I really liked it in the space or not. The light bulb itself is a little bit oranger, but I'm going to switch that out, so try to ignore it. I tried to put my same books back and the plant basket, but they're a little bit different of a vibe from the brass. I knew I was going to have to try and tie it all together. I thought maybe changing the color of the books themselves would help a little bit, maybe some browns or mustard colors. The owl, I feel like, really does complement it already, especially with the darker lampshade. So after making sure all of it was going to fit, I decided to go grab different books. These were 3 books that my dad gave me. They were his when he was younger, and I also just love the Swiss Family Robinson book. The hues were exactly what I was going for, so I decided to swap them. And when I put the basket back on there, those flowers just aren't currently working with the color scheme, so I decided to turn the basket around. The weave is super cute as well. Since the cover of the book has more of a cartoon type vibe, I decided to cover it up with the doily, again, just to tie it more together, make it more cohesive. And I thought that that looked a lot better. To help with the height in the middle, because the brass lamp is so tall, I added a small little brass candle holder and globe, and it really looks cute. I felt like all the pieces were working together a lot better, and it almost brings out the honey tone in that dresser. So here again is the room, just panning over to that lamp. Again, ignore that it's a little bit more orange colored. We are going to change that. The audience was not too impressed with the lamp, but I was liking how it was working. I was still a little bit concerned that it was just too big for that area, especially being in front of a window. From here, it almost looks like the lamp leg from Christmas Story. And I turned it off too, just so you guys could kind of see without that orange color showing what it really looked like. And then the final test, I went ahead and pulled the shades to see if it blocked the view too much. And I would say exactly from where I'm standing, it is pretty intrusive. But if you move about the room, then I felt like it really didn't block the beautiful view as much as I thought it would. So what do we think? Do I leave it? Thanks for coming along, guys. Come to a Rummage House sale with me. I was headed to take my son fishing, as you can kind of see in the back seat, and we saw the signs for the Rummage House sale. For those of you who are new, there is a woman who owns a house and she uses it as a sale house. She puts all of her type of garage sale items in it and she opens it up every once in a while. I never know when I'm going to see those signs, but when I do, I always make time for it. So let's get to it. Since I've been frequenting this place, she has expanded immensely, so she now even has a tent outside. Today there were a bunch of totes. I found these measuring cups that I thought would be really good for my husband when he's using chemicals or anything for the lawn. He is also always wanting to use funnels, and so those can be just for his stuff. I have passed on these two pieces before because of the reds. I love them otherwise. I still am not sure I will have a spot for them, but for 50 cents each, I just can't pass on them again. Then I saw these two Band-Aid tins. They don't look too terribly old, but they are aged since they are tins. There was a smaller one and a bigger one. I had just made one of these into a magnet, so I grabbed both of them. I am still collecting vintage office items for my husband's soon-to-be office trinket shelf, and so I grabbed those. Then I spotted a couple of older boxes that were full of greeting cards. I have a ton of get well soons, but how could I pass these up, even if I just use them for framing? She does not usually price items here, but I can throw it all in a bag, and she has been really fair in the past, so I was hopeful in grabbing a lot. Before finding more greeting cards, I did find some miniature angels that I will use at Christmas time. They may end up on a couple of my trinket shelves. But I found another bag of greeting cards that I just had to take. I didn't even get through them all. I just put them in the bag. Another box was filled with stationery, very cute, but I didn't have a need for them, so I left them for someone else. I have a couple of jewelry boxes already, but I thought this one was super sweet. I love the yellow color. And the wood is in really good shape considering. A little bit of cleaning up and it could be really, really neat. And it was even a music box. Moving on into the tent, she did have a lot of scarves, which I like using for gift wrapping, and I also like accessorizing my purses with them, so I grabbed the pink and red. I don't have just a plain red, so I was pretty excited about it. There were a couple of chicken figurines. I had to point this one out. The eyebrows make her look so angry. Probably because no one looks good in stripes. I'm kidding, of course. I used to be pretty scared of thrifting knitted or crocheted items like this. I just wasn't sure how the yarn would clean up. But I'm getting better about it, and so I decided to go ahead and get that for my vintage Christmas decor. Not sure where I'll put it yet. I stopped by the board games. She did have this vintage memory game. It's a little bit newer than the one I currently have. I really wanted it to use these owls for my refrigerator gallery, but it was all there, so I wanted to keep it all together, and I left it for someone else. Even though it was from 1980 and a super neat piece. I've been coming here for about 2 years now, and she has a couple of these trinket shelves that she uses for display. I love this one, and today's the day I might ask her if she'll sell it to me. She has a lot of trinkets, and this sweet little pig was just too cute to pass up on, so I did grab him. As you'll see here in a minute, someone donated all of their pig collection. When I visit here, I always look at these snaps. I know that there was I don't know if it's a ring watch or a bracelet, but each of these snapped on and it was interchangeable. And I had an idea for one of them, and so I was trying to decide which one to grab. I ended up grabbing that peachish colored one, but now I'm thinking I wish I would have grabbed a lot more, so I need to go back sometime. Here is another trinket shelf she has for display. I absolutely love it as well. There was this vintage angel on it that I was sure to grab. I also grabbed this little glass panda bear and this bird and nest. Since I have committed to another trinket shelf, I'm going all in. Here are some other pigs that are all a little bit too big for the trinket shelf. I really debated that one I just picked up. But then I saw this guy laying down. He is reading more spring and Easter, so I decided to get him for Easter decor. I don't have a lot of pigs, so he'll be a good ad. And another Vintage Worlds of Fun item. That is so interesting to me. I moved on to the records. I think my sister would like this Care Bear Christmas. I passed on it, but it seems up her alley. I have a lot of Christmas records, but I thought that this just scene was really pretty and could be used for decorating, and so I decided to grab it. You know I love these metal frames, and it's nice and small, so snagged that right up, as well as that star pin that I can use for wrapping, and 2 metal vintage jacks. Those will be so cute on the trinket shelf.
Like $5?
She always prices it so fairly, and I always have a hard time keeping my cool.
I have to ask, would you ever be willing to sell this music note trinket shell?
I'm not big on bartering or anything like that, so I was a little nervous, but I had to ask. I was only $5 in, right?
I was thinking about that. So yeah, if you'd want it, $5.
So here is the haul that I ended up with. This bag full of goodies for $5 and the music note trinket shelf for $5 as well, making $10 total. What a great day and a great stop. Come make some locker tags with my daughter. I have thrifted a lot of items for my daughter's locker tags, and you guys have been asking to see them, so let's get into it. While my daughter is making one, I thought I would explain a little bit more about what a locker tag is. Basically, it is a decorative sign that has your name or activity on it that you can put on the front of your locker to just help identify that that's your locker and just be proud of your activity. My daughter is a cheerleader, so they are in charge of athletic locker tags. Someone else makes them for the fine arts groups. Each cheerleader is given a certain number of athletes, and so my daughter was assigned multiple players from different types of fall sports. She had to complete some football ones, cross country, softball, and volleyball. There are other sports offered in the fall, but those are the ones that she was assigned. To make it easier, they are usually given a sheet with the name of the athlete as well as a silhouette of an athletic player of that sport. So for instance, you can see the football player there that she's working on now. They are also given a team quote that the team has chosen to focus on that year. And of course, the sport and the name of her high school. For instance, our school football or our school cross country. She is then to incorporate those items into a decorative locker tag. She can certainly stray from our school colors, but with the team having certain colors, she sticks with the blacks, whites, and reds. Although she did get a little creative this year with the football one and made it green for a football field. As she wraps this one up for Zach, I am going to show you all of the locker tags that she made this fall. She will make some again in winter and in spring. When I do show you the final locker tags, I do apologize. We had to cover up our school name just for privacy purposes. But I'm hoping you can still get the overall idea, and if you have some cheerleaders doing locker tags, maybe some inspiration. My daughter is very creative, and I'm very proud of her. She did these completely on her own. These athletes, I think, are pretty lucky to have her making their tag. It's such a fun way to cheer on these athletes, and it really dresses up the school hallways. I hope that helps, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for coming along, guys. Come put some thrift finds away with me. I love to thrift, but I love to style, store, and organize my thrift finds even more. So let's get to it. I found this plastic train set at a garage sale. Many of you guys said it was to hold birthday candles, and I believe you're right. When I saw it, I thought I might be able to rub and buff it and then put it on my trinket shelf. I have 2 colors. I always favor antique gold, so I think I'm going to use European gold on this just because I have a lot of it. This was quite a process, a lot of little details, and it was trying to dry on me, so a bigger deal than I thought it was going to be, but I got through it. But while that's drying, let's move on to this file holder. In my desk area, I do have a couple of receipt holders. One is for business, one is for personal, and the other one is from last year. It would be easier for me if they stood up, so I thought I would get a file holder that had 3 sections. This one was so cheap, I thought I would just tear them out, which worked really well, actually. The one from last year, I don't get out much, so it's okay if it's tight. And then the other one was easily able to slide in and out. But it was such a big project that I decided to just do one for today, and the other one's just going to have to wait till another time. That kind of seemed the theme of the day so far. So let's move on to some easy things like these ribbons that I'm going to use to wrap gifts with. They will go in my craft closet in the to be put away bag. They usually go in this container, but I will sort them when the to be put away bag is full. While I'm here though, I'm going to grab the matte Mod Podge so I can cover the train. I love Rub and Buff, but it does chip easily if you do not seal it when you're using these large amounts. So again, that's going to dry, and I'm going to move on to my holiday items. I keep all of my holiday decor in the garage in these labeled totes. The Easter one will go in this small Easter tote at the bottom here. It slid right in. And instead of going into this small Christmas tote, I am going to put these in the wreath box at the top. I'm hoping to make one this year. We'll see. I do have this frog trinket, but I'm going to save it for when I put the train on the trinket shelf, so stay tuned. I recently thrifted this fall pick. It was quite dirty, so I just spray it with this power wash and then just rinse it off. I think some of the red came off of it, but since it's all plastic, it cleaned up well. This brass holder is empty, and so I thought it might fit nicely in there. But my kids tend to knock things out of that brass container all the time, so I thought I would use this foam to hold it still. First, I measured it and cut it with a good old steak knife. And of course, you know me, I'm going to save the other foam pieces for future projects. And since the current decor style doesn't really have red in it, I'm going to remove that red berry part. Now it fits in more with the color scheme I have. I did end up using paper clips to secure that piece in there, but it looked great. And didn't take long, so that was nice. Next up, we have these greeting cards. They are all vintage. I found some smaller ones for kids' birthdays and then a bigger one for just friendship. When I was going through these, I did also find a very specific style of envelope, which I think is the missing envelope I have for a card I previously thrifted. So when I was putting away my other cards, I grabbed that card out to see if it would fit in the envelope, and I believe it is the match. What great luck. Next, we have this kind of wire basket that reminds me of a locker basket. My son's room is sports theme, vintage sports theme. We have used locker baskets in the past, and so I thought it could go here. We recently went through his chapter books, so there's an open space, and he has lots of playing cards, so I thought we could just set some in there. That works for now, even though it may have more utility in the future. The final two pieces are our trinket frog and our train. Let's put the frog on the trinket shelf first. I am filling in little spaces now, so I'm going to put him right next to that shoe. And here is how the frog looks on the trinket shelf. The train I thought might go in that empty space up top. I'll be honest, I thought that space was bigger, and so I think only about 3 cars are going to fit. Of course, the engine, the caboose, and 1 rail car. When I put them up there, I immediately noticed that it kind of looked a little cluttery. My intention is to do another trinket shelf in the future, so it might not stay here. I trade spacing them out a little bit, but I think that they would just be better on the top of the shelf alone. So stay tuned for that. Thanks for coming along, guys.